Welcome to my channel. Please hit like, share, and subscribe. In this video, we'll be touching on the life and times of Martha Reeves. Martha Rose Reeves was born in Eufaula, Alabama. She was the first female child born to Elijah Joshua Reeves and Ruby Lee Gilmore Reeves, and the third of the couple's 11 children. When she was a baby, the family moved from Eufaula to Detroit, Michigan, where her grandfather, Reverend Elijah Reeves, was a minister at Detroit's Metropolitan Church. The family attended church regularly. Elijah played guitar and Ruby was a singer. The children got their love for music from their parents. Martha had a vocal coach at Detroit's Northeastern High School, Abraham Silver, who also worked with Florence Ballard and Mary Wilson, as well as Bobby Rogers of the Miracles. Raised on gospel and inspired by singers like Lena Horne and Della Reese, Reeves became a fan of R&B and doo-wop music. She joined the Fascinations in 1959, but left the group before they began to actually record. In 1957, she met Rosalind Ashford, Gloria Williams, and Annette Beard, who were in a group then known as the Delphis, formed after a man named Edward Pops Jenkins, who was starting a female group to complement a male vocal group of his. The Delphis were popular local performers. Reeves was reportedly an admirer of the group and became a good friend of Gloria Williams, who hired Reeves to join the group in early 1960. In 1960 through 1961, Reeves made ends meet working odd jobs by day and worked as a singer at nighttime, singing jazz and blues songs at some of Detroit's hottest nightclubs. While performing at the 20 Grand Club, Reeves was spotted by Motown A&R director Mickey Stevenson, who recognized her talent and invited her to audition at Motown. Reeves, whose stage name at the time was Martha Lavelle, showed up at Motown's Hitsville, USA studios the next morning, not knowing that she had to call to make an appointment in order to audition. Stevenson asked her to answer the phones while he took care of other things around the office. Using the skills she had learned in commercial courses in high school, Reeves answered phones, took notes, administered payroll for Motown's famous Funk Brothers, and made herself valuable. Motown routinely recorded without a singer present, in violation of union rules. According to Berry Gordy, we were recording sometimes tracks without the singer, and according to the union, you had to have a singer singing it live. You couldn't do tracks in those days. A union representative made a surprise visit, and everybody went crazy. Allegedly, Martha overheard the chaos, grabbed the mic, and started singing. Before long, Reeves was working several hours at Hitsville as Stevenson's right hand. She also did A&R work in addition to secretarial work for Motown. By 1961, the Delphis had changed their name to the Vels and recorded singles for Checker and Checkmate Records. One day when Mary Wells could not attend the session, Reeves stepped up to sing and called in the Delphis after recording I'll Have to Let Him Go. Martha and the Vandellas was then born. Then, when the Andantes could not make a session to back the Miracles drummer on songs he was recording, Martha called the Vandellas. The ladies, now a trio after Williams' departure, provided backup vocals for Marvin Gaye's Stubborn Kind of Fellow, and the single became a hit. Martha and the Vandellas backed Gaye on his first 3 singles, his first album, and on stage even after they had their own hits. With her full gospel voice, Martha Reeves helped Martha and the Vandellas ascend from background singers with early songs such as Come and Get These Memories and Heatwave distinguishing the group from contemporaries and label mates, the Marvelettes, who preceded them, and the Supremes, who followed them. After Heatwave became the group's first million seller, Martha and the Vandellas quickly rose to become one of the label's top drawers, both as recording stars and as a successful live act. Martha was the one consistent member of the group, staying throughout all the group's changes and lineups. Among the singles released that became signature hits for the group are Quicksand, In My Lonely Room, Live Wire, Nowhere to Run, A Love Like Yours, Don't Come Knocking Every Day, I'm Ready for Love, Jimmy Mack, Honey Child, and the group's most popular song, Dancing in the Street. I still listen to Dancing in the Street like it's new. With major success comes challenges. They faced standard girl group struggles, struggling to maintain their personal lives while maintaining relentless recording and touring schedules. When original member Rosalind Ashford left in 1968, Martha recruited Sandra Tiley, and the lineup of Martha and Lois Reeves and Tilly continued until 1972, when the group disbanded shortly after issuing the Black Magic album. In 1972, after Motown moved from Detroit to Los Angeles, Martha eventually left the group. Honey Child was the last single Martha and the Vandellas would have on the Billboard Hot 100, peaking at number 11. Reeves spent many years after that battling drug addiction and being incarcerated in a mental institution. After Reeves followed Motown and left Detroit for Los Angeles, she says that she was offered all sorts of drugs. Your nose is really made for cocaine, they tell her. One account said her dentist got her addicted to cocaine, and once LSD was dropped into her champagne. And when that LSD was dropped into her champagne, it caused Martha to have some type of reaction to it, whereas she wound up being put in an institution, in a mental home. And in one of my previous videos, I was discussing when David Ruffin, Eddie, and Mary Wilson got into it with Martha Reeves over payment on a show. She didn't want to stay for the second show after they paid her for the first show. And David Ruffin went off on Martha Reeves and was calling her all kinds of crazy BITCHs and saying, you've been in a crazy house 4 or 5 times. So I believe she did wind up in there, but it was as a result of her champagne being spiked with acid, LSD. So Martha went through it for a while, but she eventually got herself together. And I would imagine that was a difficult, long road to get through for her to recuperate from being poisoned, right? Actually, because she didn't take that on her own free will, that LSD. And so that does something to the brain that sometimes you can't even come back from. So I believe she's a really strong woman. By 1977, Reeves had sobered up, overcoming her addictions and becoming a born-again Christian. After the Vandellas split, Reeves' sister Lois sang with the group Quiet Elegance and sang background for Al Green, while Tilly retired from show business in the late 1970s, suddenly dying of a brain aneurysm in 1981 at the age of 38. Original member Gloria Williams, who retired from show business when she left the group, died in 2000. In 1978, Reeves and original Vandellas, Ashford and Beard, reunited at a Los Angeles benefit concert for actor Will Geer. In 1983, Reeves successfully sued for royalties from her Motown hits, and the label agreed to have the songs credited as Martha Reeves and the Vandellas from then on. That year, Reeves performed solo at Motown 25, which, alongside some of their songs being placed on the Big Chill soundtrack, helped Reeves and the Vandellas gain a new audience. In 1989, original members Ashford and Beard also sued Motown for royalties. During this time, the original trio were inspired to reunite both as a recording act and in performances. They were offered a recording contract with Ian Levine at Motor City Records, who issued the group's first single since the Vandellas disbanded 17 years earlier, called Step Into My Shoes. Although they are no longer singing together full-time, Martha Reeves and the Vandellas have occasionally reunited for various concerts. Currently, Ashford, whose full name now is Rosalind Ashford Holmes, and Beard, whose full name now is Annette Beard Helton, continue to perform with other singers, most notably Rochelle Lorne as the original Vandellas. Reeves, with her sisters Lois and Delphine Reeves, tour as Martha Reeves and the Vandellas. From 2005 to 2009, Reeves held the 8th seat of Detroit's City Council. She has since lost her seat and told the press that she would continue performing. A remake of the song Nowhere to Run, sung by Arnold McCuller, is heard in the film The Warriors during the scene in which the Gramercy riffs call a hit on the Warriors. In a season 1 episode of the television show The Golden Girls, Blanche described her car as the noisiest thing to come out of Detroit since Martha and the Vandellas. Candice Bergen, who hosted the Saturday Night Live episode on which Martha Reeves appeared in its inaugural season, made sure that Martha Reeves and the Vandellas were a presence throughout her Murphy Brown series. The group's picture was displayed prominently in Murphy's office. When Aretha Franklin guest starred and Murphy tried to sing with her, Franklin stopped her saying, "I'm not Martha and you ain't no Vandella." The group is briefly portrayed in the 2017 film Detroit, performing Nowhere to Run at the Fox Theater in Detroit. Martha and the Vandellas' Dancing in the Street was inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame in 1999. They were nominated for Best R&B Vocal Performance by a Duo or Group for the song in 1964. In 1993, Martha Reeves and the Vandellas were awarded the Pioneer Award by the Rhythm and Blues Foundation. Except for pre-Vandellas member Gloria Williamson and Vandellas member Sandra Tilley, all members of the group were inducted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1995, becoming the second all-female group to be inducted. They were inducted by rock group the B-52s, whose frothy dance music was inspired by the Vandellas. They were inducted into the Vocal Group Hall of Fame in 2003. 2 of their singles, Love Is Like a Heat Wave and Dancing in the Street, were included in the list of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame's 500 songs that shaped rock and roll. In 2004, Rolling Stone ranked the group number 96 on their list of the 100 greatest artists of all time. In 2005, Martha and the Vandellas were voted into the Michigan Rock and Roll Legends Hall of Fame. Always concert favorites, Martha Reeves and the Vandellas were nominated for UK Festival Awards in 2010 and 2011 as Best Headliner. Martha and the Vandellas were inducted into the inaugural class of the official Rhythm and Blues Music Hall of Fame at Cleveland State University in August of 2013. And Martha Reeves, at age 80, is still alive, and she is currently still performing. God rest her soul. And as I find more about Martha Reeves, because there wasn't much that I could just dig up, I will be doing more add-ons and more even short videos about what I find. Peace and love. I hope you enjoyed this video. And please hit the like button, share, subscribe, and put on your notifications so that when a new video is uploaded, you'll get the notification. Peace and love.